fault yours it was.
There we go. Alright, so now we're streaming through XSplit Broadcaster instead of Hangouts on Air, which, by the way, if anyone's doing Hangouts on Air and recording it, they apparently have issue processing, which they don't tell you about, but none of your stuff is probably going to get saved to YouTube, and if it does, you're one of the lucky ones, so...
Oh, so are we actually live now?
Yeah, we've been live this whole time.
Oh, the whole time?
Yeah.
Ooh. You've just been having audio issues. I thought we were live.
Yeah.
I mean, I thought we were not live.
No, we are live, and we've just been having audio issues.
Well, it's a good thing I've been on my best behavior.
Yeah. Alright, so now it should be recording to my computer as well as streaming to YouTube and being recorded on YouTube. So if YouTube doesn't process for some reason, we have a backup copy, which you don't get if you're doing Hangouts on Air. And if you go look at the live stream, we got this cool little Foolish IT logo at the top right up here now.
Word! And that's because we're not doing the Hangouts. We're going straight through YouTube now, right?
Yeah, well,
awesome.
The XSplit is what lets me have that thing. And we can do scenes and stuff, so different kinds of things.
Oh yeah, I was looking forward to playing with that software so much, like in January or something when I decided to get it. I just was, or March, or I don't remember when it was, but it was like a lot of cool things you can do there. Just no time to mess with it, I guess. But
yeah. Yeah, my thing about it now, though, is that we always have to do it through this route and always have to have this program running and streaming. So now I'm not only doing streaming for 2 Hangouts, but I'm also streaming to YouTube, so lots of bandwidth usage on my crappy 4 megs of upload speed.
if it's worth doing, it's worth doing right.
It's worth doing easy, which is what Hangouts on Air was.
Yeah, easy isn't good if it doesn't work, though.
Well, that's when it wasn't doing, when it wasn't that much worth doing. And Proctor's right. Yeah, it's got to work, too.
Yeah, if it's not working, then it's a problem. But
is that a random problem, or are they like consistently having that problem now?
It's a random problem and possibly an upgrade issue because Google Plus is going through all that upgrading, which if you've switched to the new Google Plus, you notice they don't even have the events or the Hangouts stuff on there anymore, so they're probably getting ready to switch Hangouts on Air to some completely new funk and mess everything up for anyone that's using it. So
sounds about right.
That's what, there was one comment on there that was like, is Google going through another upgrade and screwing us all over again?
Yep.
And the Google person that had been talking on the forums did not respond to that one. So, we could use the other meetings app too if we wanted to, but I figured we would want to use Hangouts because it gives us these little name bars, which Nick and I use, but no one else does. Proctor, you could enable your name bar so people know who you are.
Yeah, always forget to turn it on.
It's a lower third.
I'm sorry, what, Johnny?
Yeah, that's what
it's the lower third.
Oh yeah, I know.
Hangout toolbox. Hey, can't we do like all kinds of stuff like that and more through XSplit?
I guess if I set up a scene for each person and then switch between each person for the audio.
I have no idea. I thought it was in the thing that you could do all that crap. I don't know.
I haven't
I
learned
just-
enough about it in the 4 hours that I played with it, so no.
Yeah, the only thing I know about it are like the screenshots and features. I don't even know the features actually. I just know the screenshots. I don't even remember those.
Yeah,
But
I
I'm
just
pretty
know
sure
you
it
can,
had that feature.
you can add all kinds of layers and things to your scenes.
Who was just in and dropped out?
Shank.
I got the boot. I had the sun back in.
Oh, that's you again coming back. Oh, okay. I was like, Michael wasn't still in here, was he? Punk ass better get to the hospital.
How's his brother doing?
Don't know.
Okay.
His last update was right before the show, and it was something is up.
Huh.
And that was something I think was about the keyword there.
Yeah.
His parents were on the way to the hospital, so I was like, well, you better go too.
Yeah,
Bad
that's
news.
fun. So, well, I would go over that new app that Proctor wanted to add, but I don't know what we can and can't talk about, because I tried to add that thing to the default apps, because I think it's on that new server, isn't it, Nick? For the
Do what, huh?
for adding a new custom app to the D7 default apps, isn't that on the new server?
It is. It's on the server. The server.
When I tried adding it to the, well, I'm not sure if the server is the server that I'm thinking of.
Probably not, because the servers have been moved.
Well, I think I was going to the server because it looked like it had the updated files, but I tried adding the config and the INI, which Proctor, you forgot the INI and the app description and work report language, but I added those. I tried adding those to the zip file and it gave me a permission denied error, so I wanted to check with you after that. But I don't know if you wanna...
Huh? I mean, just to overwrite the zip on the server?
Well, I don't know if I was overwriting the zip or if I was just adding the file to the zip. Also, I was just doing it through remote desktop, not through FTP, so that might also
well, that should work. It might have been in use.
That may be
I mean,
used too.
Sometimes I don't know exactly how the file system works when you're sharing an IIS like that, but I think that it there's some sort of locking that goes on that, like, you know, so it might have just been in use. And I mean, obviously it's not like, obviously it's not constantly, like, the files aren't constantly locked. You can replace them, but I don't know what the settings and thresholds and nuances of that process are. So I just know sometimes that happens and you just try again and it works.
Okay.
Sometimes somebody downloading or uploading something, whatever.
Well, I was talking with DGMUR.KillEmAll. He's in the IRC chat right now. I was talking with him yesterday.
Oh, word.
He gave me some other new apps to add in.
Who?
I guess we can go into
DG Murdoch the Third?
Is that how you say that?
I would assume. I recognize Murdoch, and I know 3 Eyes is probably the third.
That would all make sense there.
Hmm.
He gave me some new apps. We can just go over those right now. And
Is anything like the A-Team Murdoch? Because that was cool.
some apps.
Yeah, I like Murdoch.
That probably is. So I was thinking about adding these to the custom app thing, and awesome. So it's going to show that thing on top of the screen. Yeah, stupid Hangouts. So he gave me some new apps that we can add in there. BleachBit, it's kind of like a overkill CC cleaner without the registry stuff. So I was gonna look into that, and it's
Well, that's kind of cool. It yet another temp file cleaner, really, basically, right?
yeah, pretty much.
And I like that no registry stuff.
Yeah, this one's
No registry stuff.
this one's focused on privacy with the snowed-in stuff, so I haven't looked too much into its features, but yeah, file shredding and prevent recovery and wipe disk, things like that are included in that one.
I started on a secure file erase routine at one point. I came along fairly okay with it, but wasn't like I wanted it to be.
Yeah.
One of these days I may add it back.
That stuff is difficult because you have to do down to the bit size on the
Yeah. So.
another one he gave me was the Snappy Driver Installer, and this uses driver packs.
I've seen that.
Update and install drivers, so I thought that would be cool. Plus, it's another open source one, and it looks like it doesn't have the same stuff that the one that comes with driver pack, which he showed me the updated version of that one, which looks like it doesn't include that weird Russian malware, but I haven't installed that one. But this one doesn't look like it includes it at all. He recommended it as being better. But yeah, this one uses driver pack, so you can update all your drivers quickly and easily. That's definitely cool.
And no weird Russian malware, correct? Yeah. Good.
It was more malvertising, I guess, than malware, really, but it was aggravating.
Why split hairs?
It put a system tray icon that you couldn't get rid of, and it like kept popping up. Hey, do something. And the last one he had was Net Adapter Repair All-in-One, which
hadn't heard of that.
It goes through and does most of the same stuff that D7's internal functions do, but I was like, if it more options, never a bad thing. So
yeah, more options, never a bad thing. Of course, some of my customers would argue with that. But.
Yeah. But yeah, so there's 3 new apps that we'll probably get on there. Plus, Proctor set up a CPU-Z custom app, and we can get that one up. And looks like Zombie Worm has joined us in the IRC chat. Hey, Zombie Worm, how's it going?
I also set up a custom app for TeamViewer quick support, and I had some issues, so I wanted to go over that. Let me get my screen set up for sharing.
Oh, while I was
What'd
looking
you say?
around,
I'm sorry.
While I was looking around the various... What?
Nothing.
While I was looking around the various servers, I saw that the dCloud shared had 2 TeamViewer configs you might want to look at there.
I'm sorry, the what did?
The original D7 dCloud sharing, where people shared their dCloud apps.
Okay.
That had 2 TeamViewer ones in it too, so you might want to check those out. And I know that the app link, download link or whatever for the quick support was giving us issues when we tried to set one up.
Okay, well I figured out why. I don't know if it's the same reason you had, but
tried to link to it even.
Michael helped me figure it out this morning. I got it to work.
Now, for that, aren't they going to have to use their own custom URL anyway?
Yeah, they're going to have to use their own custom URL. But if you're setting it up, you're going to have a problem unless you do what I'm going to show you.
Well, take her away.
Show it to us. When you ready. Alright.
Hello? Um,
Riley, did you get a look at my build?
I did. Did you want me to go over some of the things I found?
I don't know. Do you need to?
I do.
I hate you.
I don't know, zombie worm. I never looked into it. Can you add a picture on the IRC?
You can link to a picture that you have posted somewhere on the internet, but no, you can't put
Okay, that's
in IRC chats.
No, that's not it.
Some clients allow you to use emoticons, but not hex chat. So, and when I was in a different IRC and they were talking about it, the other person was like, that kept posting emoticons, which are just colon emoticon name colon in any IRC chat that doesn't support emoticons. They're like, someday your IRC chats will catch up with it, and then somebody else was like, and that'll be the day that I quit IRC.
Good call. Emoticons sucked.
Yeah. Still suck.
Now, big stickers,
You
those
use
are cool.
them more than anybody I know.
What?
You use emoticons more than anybody I know.
I use text emoticons. I don't use actual emoticons.
They get
Same thing.
translated not by choice.
Yeah. They are not the same thing. Those are still characters.
Yeah.
They're not pictures of stinky poo.
I didn't even know the syntax, so it's a colon, word, colon. I didn't know that.
Yeah. Well, that's the international syntax standard. I don't know if that's Google's standard.
International syntax for emoticons? Wow.
Hold on.
Who is on the consortium that manages that?
I'll show you. There's actually a
Oh
cheat
God,
sheet.
you're serious.
I am.
I hate you.
Emoji-cheat-sheet.com, and I'll post the link in the IRC chat, but
That's not an international consortium of authority on emoji.
it's what a lot of every apps use, this thing.
Has anyone told, Anonymous should take them down. They want to do something worth it.
It's hosted on GitHub, so I don't think they'll be taking GitHub.
They should take down GitHub. Fucking Linus guy, anyway. His little Git thing. Take that down, too. Be gone with it.
You use that.
Oh, yeah.
All right, guys, I'm ready to go. Let's see.
Let's do it.
Yeah.
See you.
To it.
All right, so I wanted to configure a custom app in d7ii to run a custom TeamViewer quick support, and I had some difficulties doing it. First of all, I have my my URL for my for my TeamViewer quick support, which is this right here, and if I go to that URL, it's going to download my file. Which is this, and so I took all that information and set up a custom app in d7ii, but it wasn't working. Go to Tools and Custom Tools and Config.
Or that too.
Yeah, I just found out that was there last night. User created apps. I already have one set up for TeamViewer. A quick click on the tab New and Edit App. Gave it a name, put an author in there, put a website for support. It works with all of these operating systems, 32 and 64-bit. I'm going to click on the Download tab. This is where I had an issue, and I just put in my my URL for my custom quick support, and the file name has to be this for it to work, which is the file name that TeamViewer creates.
You can't rename TeamViewer's executable?
You cannot. If you rename it, it will not work.
Yeah, I remember we ran into that issue as well, Nick, when we were trying to do
Those
the
guys are
DSO
retarded.
thing.
Do they not know how to code?
I guess not.
Part of their coding.
Well,
Yeah.
I know, but it's if it's part of their coding for a reason, then do they not know how to code? Because there's no reason for that.
Yeah, you should be able to do it a different way. I think
There's no reason for that.
Yeah, they just
That's probably a shortcut for something they don't
lazy
want to
out,
figure
yeah.
out.
Well, it
Exactly.
may be for security purposes, so that you have to have
There's
a named
no reason for
TeamViewer
that.
instead of some other fake file name.
All right, what I found out is I'm going to test this download. And it went really quickly, which is arouses suspicion. But I'm going to go to the d7ii third-party tools.
What arouses suspicion is the look of your URL, but I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Okay. And you'll notice that the file here is only 10K, which is a lot less than it should be. It's over 5 megs is what it should be. And what has happened that it's actually downloaded an HTML file. This isn't really an exe.
Because you put in the URL to an HTML file, didn't you?
That's what it resolves to. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And it's partially my fault, but a lot of people make this mistake. It's the full URL. It's not.
Yeah.
Don't disclude the file name just because it's, it's asking for the full total URL. It doesn't append what the file name is to the URL field when it makes the HTTP request.
Well, didn't
Huh?
you end up getting an entirely different URL?
Yeah, it was an entirely different URL. I guess TeamViewer doesn't give you the full URL, and there may be a different way to get it.
They're redirecting then, maybe.
Yeah, if I open up this text file,
Mm-hmm.
in here is the actual link that I need.
So they're actually down. So that one link was redirecting from your site to their download link. So they were hosting the file, not you.
Right. Yeah, they're hosting the file.
That's
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah. I mean, if I were using my own FTP server, this would be different. But this is the file hosted, by TeamViewer.
Mm.
So if I paste that into a URL box, and I'm going to delete that file. Well, I guess I don't have to. I renamed it. And I'll test my download. That went really fast. Oh, yeah, there it is.
It's cached.
It downloaded the appropriate file.
How compressed is that, by the way? Will that zip any further? I mean, at normal compression.
I'm not sure.
Right-click and zip it. I'm just curious because. Go ahead.
Send to. Yep.
I'm so used to
You
using
don't use
7-zip.
Windows Explorer, do you? No, it doesn't.
Mm-mm.
No. Okay, never mind. I didn't know what kind of compression they already had on that thing. I was going to suggest, and just another thing is if you actually host it yourself, then you could zip it.
Yeah.
D7 will extract a zip automatically if it, and a RAR and 7-zip, I believe, too.
But that URL issue had me stumped for about an hour last night, so that's something that people should be aware of.
Yeah, and it's actually it's my fault. I mean, I put download URL, like this is the download URL. It's just that's not confusing in and of itself. It's just confusing when I ask for a file name. The reason why I do that is because a browser, when you download a file, it does all sorts of inspecting of, I guess, things to get names like that, file names and stuff like that. It's not always obvious when you're just downloading the URL. You just plug a URL into an API and expect it to return a file.
Wait,
But-
Proctor, that page you're on right there, right click
Yeah.
on that try again,
There you go.
And
Save link
say,
as. Copy link address. It's the same one.
That's the
There you go.
correct.
That's the other thing too, is you have to find the actual download URL, because you see that's the page that you're downloading right there, is that,
Mhm.
Yeah.
because that page loads the download.
My point was though is that when you just throw a URL at an API and say give me this file, it doesn't really know what the file name's supposed to be. So rather than, I mean, there's a lot more coding, I guess, involved in figuring out what that is, and that's something that I never did. The save file name box was not only a shortcut so that I had to code less and I could get the feature out there, but it was also a feature so that you could name the thing whatever you wanted to, despite whatever name it was on the website.
Right. And that, I utilize that when I set up the CPU-Z. I wanted the file name to be, something simple without the version number in it.
Yeah, because a lot of times when you get those version numbers and if you just save it as the same name all the time, then it doesn't matter to the rest of the script or the app or whatever. So,
Well,
anywho.
Also, is that URL going to have issues whenever it updates?
Yeah, if they change the version number, it's going to have
that
issues.
one,
Is there a way around that?
Karen?
Oh, yeah.
I mean, it's there could be something done with regex in the future, but it's not. I mean, if you give it a URL and it's not there anymore, I don't know what to do. I'm not psychic, so I have to figure out. Yeah.
Come on, Xavier. Don't you have an Xavier class?
So, the point is that there's going to be some amount of setup or configuration involved in something like that, where the URL is going to constantly change.
Yeah.
I mean, even with back in the day when a lot of the stuff was retrieved through Kettering like that, the problem was that even with the regex power that it had and the page scraping and all this other stuff that it has, the time involved in understanding it and setting it up often was kind of pointless, because you would still need to change that because somebody changes their website around, and then the page scraping doesn't work right, and then the regex doesn't work right, and then everything else is messed up.
Yep.
So there's always a constant maintenance when they don't do that. There's really no way around it. Done.
Yeah.
If that answered your question. Are you there?
Huh? Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, yeah. There's always a bit, I mean, I can't even, there's not even a way to guess. I mean, it would have to be a straight-up Kettering system. There's not even a way to, even if you were to do wildcard search or regex thing in a URL string like that, that just means you gotta, without scraping a page and looking for clues, you gotta start pinging that server and guessing, at what's there. I mean, not pings, but, download requests and stuff. I mean, what, really? It's a lot of work. It sounds like it would just add a lot of slowness to everything, especially if you were really vague about what you needed to download.
Yeah. I wish I remembered that download file I used to have.
Of course, then again, maybe if everyone did it, and if I set up d7ii, d7x to do that, and just got everything on board, and just got all of our apps to do that, and just had everything do that, and everyone set up and configured to do it already, maybe we could teach these people a lesson to use some damn static names for a change. Or they will suffer bandwidth payments. I don't know what to say.
So Proctor, you want to look at that CPU thing that you have there? Proctor.
I probably put him to sleep. Let's just let him rest. He's had a long morning.
Poor guy. He's all tuckered out.
Tuckered. I love that word, tuckered. Tuckered out.
You've been tuckered.
Somebody named Tucker probably uses that a lot.
I would.
I bet. Let's go with the ladies.
Sorry, guys, I had to sign for delivery.
Get tuckered out.
Actually, I had a question, John. If you could just explain the different app operating modes here, the manual, the fully automated, and the auto and silent and visible.
Oh, nothing. It's not a mode.
It's what?
It's not a mode. It does nothing.
Okay.
It's just
It shows you when you have the 2-line display like you've got there for the apps, and it has that little second line. It says app manual, app silent.
Yeah. Okay.
It just tells you what it is when you're looking at it in the list.
Oh, okay. Gotcha. It's just a label.
That's all. Yeah. So you know it's a manual or a silent or an automated fully or whatever.
Okay.
You know, I mean, like if it says app/invisible or silent or whatever, then you know, oh, if I don't see nothing on the screen and it says it's doing something, then maybe it's actually doing something because it's supposed to be silent. You know, that kind of thing.
Oh, gotcha.
You know, or, oh, it's manual, so I know not to check it if I'm expecting to walk away for a few minutes. That kind of thing.
And what's the use non-direct URLs download method?
Something I had to whip up for a custom app. Don't remember.
Okay.
Try it if URLs don't work. In fact, you might have tried it with the TeamViewer thing.
Yeah, I did try it, and it didn't affect it in any way.
But it was the same. It was the same thing. It was like a redirect page somehow that was set up funny, and I could never get it to follow the redirect. So I just downloaded the page because that's what was going to happen anyway.
Right.
And examined the page for a URL, and
Okay, well, that's what I thought it probably did.
Which is exactly what you manually did to figure out your TeamViewer issue. It's just whatever method I'm using to do that was more specific, probably to whatever other websites that I was worried about at the time.
Gotcha.
You know.
Yeah.
But it's always something to try. I've seen it work when I didn't expect it to on one thing, and I was like, oh. But it's like however they have their web page set up, it uses the same thing. I couldn't think of what to call it, but it wasn't direct, so that's what I put. Yeah. And you know what spoof referring URL is? I mean, just because you're not asking, but someone might, as long as we're on the page. That actually is a legitimate feature. It is sending a URL in the HTTP request to get a new URL that says I am coming from this old URL. And since you're not actually coming from there, you're coming from D7, then we call it spoofing. And that's a bona fide term in HTTP 1.1. And so you spoof the URL that you're coming from, and because the reason for that is because some pages will not let you download their download unless you were just at their download page. You know, they don't want other people direct linking, and that basically is what that stops, is the direct linking of downloads. So spoofing gets around that.
Cool.
Hey, Proctor.
Yeah.
Go to your execution tab and browse to that. Or no, OpenDIR. Sorry. Oh, you haven't downloaded it on that one.
Oh no. Yeah, I'm on a VRM that I haven't Turn it on. VM.
I was going to ask, but isn't that a TV show or something?
Alright, so you see you have an INI file there?
Yeah.
That's for saving settings, so go ahead and right click on that and say copy. And now click on your third party tool, or no, your D7 folder. And go into config, custom apps, just the regular one. And right click and make a new folder. Or that one. And say third party tools, I think it is. Let me double check.
It's funny watching people use Windows.
Yeah.
Who do things differently than you. What the fuck is my doctor calling about? God, stop it.
Sorry, it's third party configs. Third space party space configs.
Like that?
Yep. And paste that file inside of there. And now go to your pre-execution tab. And browse for that import config before execution. And
Brantley?
Yeah.
Not knowing where you were going with that, I didn't know where you were going with that, but if you just hit the browse button, it creates the directory and opens it for you.
Oh, that's nice.
So you can paste in whatever you need to paste in through that dialog if you got something copied to the
Yeah,
clipboard.
it's another way to use Windows.
Cool.
And then also check the save config after execution. And what that allows you to do is, since it does have an INI file that it saves in the directory, is...
Well, and another way to use d7ii, I just realized you probably didn't catch the drift of that. d7ii makes the directory that it's supposed to be, of the name that it's supposed to be, and the place that it's supposed to be, and opens it for you so you don't have to figure out what that is. Sorry.
True.
That's why I just wanted to clarify.
That's awesome.
What that does though is since it has an INI file where it saves settings in the app directory, you're able to make changes and customizations to how the program works and looks, and then D7 will save that file and any changes that you've made to that folder, and then next time you run that app from anywhere, it'll open up with those save changes.
Awesome.
And then the other spot is on the persistent settings. You always want to add an app short description and work report language. And I did add some random stuff. I forget what I added.
At least so it appears in your work report when you click it to run the app or when it runs in auto mode or whatever.
And the short description is just what shows up under the app, under description.
Yeah, like you can, it's just another, just like the auto silent manual option. This is just purely cosmetic, the short description, and then the work report language is your, obviously.
So what I put for those is, where did I put it? For app description, I said display hardware information, parentheses CPU, comma RAM, comma MB, in parentheses. Because there you go ahead.
Go ahead. I was just going to say, and we know you know what CPU-Z is, but the guy working for you may not at first, be familiar with it or whatever. So that's all that's for.
Yeah.
You don't want to put an app description of the name of the app.
Yeah.
Because that'll be displayed along with it anyway. But then for
so please take that out of parentheses. That's bothering me. Thank you.
Then the work report language, I put reviewed hardware information of system. I thought that sounded a little funny, but I couldn't think of anything better. So. And to clarify more about those two, the app short description is what the tech is going to see as to what that program's doing. The work report language is what the client will see as to what you did with that program.
Thank you, Bradley. Remember,
Just save custom
Remember
settings
that.
only. Oh, and I also did the always re-download if app is greater than. Check mark at the top there.
I wouldn't worry about that with a version number and the download URL.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
But since this is a manual one, you may also want to do the audible alert checkbox or email default technician, depending on which options you like to do for knowing what apps are going.
And also note that you got to share, you got to save custom settings only button down there, which is separate from the save app button. If you the custom settings only that button is only on that persistent settings tab. Those settings are persistent, meaning that if you're editing a custom app that's provided by us, those settings will stick. Meaning if we update the apps, those settings will remain. So anything you put on that page stays that way, but everything else is fair game to get changed. So it has a separate button for the separate settings there. If you actually use the Save App button on a default app, it would make a copy of it instead. So just note there's a separate button there, and I will think of a more intuitive way to do that here for D7ix. Oh my! Just even looking at this, it's like wow. I'm taking notes. Right? You made me start taking notes on language already.
That's good.
But I'm a bit off from the custom app system, but
the reason too that would be aggravating is because if you change a default app and it saves a copy, but you don't update all of your assign app function sections, then you wouldn't have you wouldn't be using that updated app language. You'd be using the default app language still.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's why. Yes, exactly. Which is why the persistent settings has the separate button. Really, for your own custom apps, that shouldn't even be an issue, but that shouldn't be a separate thing. I should have like merged, had the logic in there to merge them when it's your own custom app, so you don't have the separate options at all for either. But anyway.
Well, cool.
All stuff I'm thinking about for the new version. So you want to tell me what is wrong, Brantley, with the current build?
If it makes you sound so disappointed.
Well, I wouldn't have even put it on there. I mean, but I didn't test it. Like every time I test it, I'm like, something's wrong. So I'm go back to code, and that's why like every once in a while I gotta throw one out because otherwise I'm gonna keep going back to code, and because I keep perfecting and I keep perfecting and I keep adding while I'm perfecting or changing while I'm perfecting, and then that breaks other things, and then I got to go back and perfect that again, and then so this morning I finished that build and went to the doctor and just uploaded it before I left. So that's where we are. I don't know anything about it.
All right.
Other than I stopped the flickering problem.
You did do that, so that's a plus. Here I'll show on my screen what we got here.
Uh-oh.
There we are. Alright, so we got a couple apps open, and we'll start KillEmAll. not going to do a full thing. But
Uh-huh.
yeah, no app flickering, so that's good. Internal logic showing up good because I got the IE Explorer whitelisted. And I don't know if you meant to do this or if you didn't mean to do this, but when you do kill running programs, the running tab, running programs, moves over instead of that. So these tabs were switched.
I did mean to do that.
Okay.
I did mean to do that. When you click on the Running Programs tab, it's the only tab that you click on there that refreshes the scan. Because everything else is just results or rules. You've got your rules, then you've got results, then you've got results again, then you've got the refresh of current stuff. So I either, with the current programs and then the kill results coming in on the end, the allowed programs were still over here, and I thought, why is that? Why? The allowed programs probably should be by the allowed rules, and then I was like, but the allowed rules maybe are first, so that means the running programs, if I want them to be on the end, is last. I'm a design nightmare. I can't think of anything, but yes, I intended for the running programs tab to always be last.
Okay.
So
that
when
just,
it pops up with the new tab, it just pops it up in the middle.
Yeah, that just flipped me because we had it vice versa.
Different before, yeah.
So
and I don't and I'm open to feedback on that now. I mean, if you've got some. I mean, I know you just said it's different, but I can change it still. I'm a little confused about the flow.
Yeah.
And the way I actually wrote it down, and let me say the way that I've got the flow is from left to right. I've got options, stuff, and that's at the top. And I try to stick with the same thing on the bottom: options, which is rules and defs, stuff, which is the results. And then I've got the dynamic real-time junk on the end. And that's kind of what I was going to do with the top row too, with the options, stuff being kill, prevent, remove as they come along. And then the dynamic real-time stuff on the end would be like the defunct and then the other junk. And that's kind of what I was thinking, is just adding it as I was adding it down. The flow, the left to right flow. And I'm having trouble with it in my head.
The only reason I like the two tabs being together is because they both say they're running programs. So I would have thought they should have stayed beside each other, and the kill results on the end was fine from what I was seeing.
And that's kill program results. And see, I might put actually running program results or something like that, or whatever. I don't know. Running programs found, kill program results.
I mean, that wording makes sense there.
Kill program results.
Yeah. Maybe killed instead of kill. But yeah, you have kill running programs and kill programs. That makes sense there. All right, so you saw the restart thing works.
Yay! From the allowed list.
Well,
oh, damn it.
Now that's where I did find some issues here. So it does work from here, but you can see it doubles up the names. So there's only one running still, and it doubles up. But
it's just not removing it when it's just not removing the process from the allowed list. Let me write that down.
Yep.
Yeah, let's see. Okay. Oh. I don't know if that'll work.
I was about to say, this is the only program or problem I found.
Nice, thank you. 91. Object not set.
And I believe that is for any program in the allowed.
You just did a program in the allowed. You did it
No, I
in
did
Explorer.
a restart program. I didn't do a
Oh.
kill. Yeah, any program.
Oh, for kill. Oh, Snapple. Yeah, well, it's not happening for me.
It didn't do it on that one, but it did.
Which one is it doing it on?
Explorer is the one I can get it to do it on all the time. It looks like the
Okay, but
Internet Explorer was only when I had done the restart thing that it gave me that.
alright, fine, I did it. Now let me see what we got here. So, see what I'm debugging is looking like. Say, so that's what's not getting set. Mm-hmm. And I know it's because it's internally whitelisted, but item exists returns nothing
But
because
it's
as an
only,
internal
it's
whitelist,
anything
it's
that's
not in the
whitelisted
collection.
because updatable defs did it too. And no, it
But
just only did it if
no,
I
it's not.
restarted it. Yeah, you're right. It is only if it's internally. Because IE Explorer works if I don't do it like that.
Oh. Okay, so let's see, skip current procedure.
Everything else is working great though.
If my PID skip, I, huh. Yeah. See, I mean, I can fix the I guess I'm skipping adding a few items to a collection in my scan, and that's what's going on there. I was just doing that for it's actually supposed to be a failsafe. Sort of people couldn't mess up too bad, certain things. But I may have to rethink that, or I may just let it go and just add everything to the collection and let people do whatever they want to do. Because there's a couple of those. I mean, Oh, I know what to do. Hmm. Hmm. Let me throw you something real quick. This is just a super quick change, actually. Should never be. I'm changing my 6-core atomizer at the moment. Started noticing over the last week or so, it starts getting everything starts getting all kind of burnt looking. The juice starts getting burnt back up in the tank, Atomizer is actually still kicking strong, but it seems like it's still kicking strong, but there's like, a lot of spitting issues in the last day or so, and the juice was, like I was saying, was getting all black in the tank. I just pulled it out. Man, it is dark in there. I'll show it to you in a minute.
Well, while you do that, so I found out that these are incredibly insecure. I got a $8 locking pick kit on Amazon. Came with a lot of different lock picking kit tools.
I started to get that, and I was like, maybe somebody will get it for me for Christmas. I put it on my wish list.
I got it, and I also got this lock so you can see the inside of it. So you can see how locks work, which basically it's just springs holding down pins that have
oh, did that came with it, right?
This one, the kit that I got, didn't.
Oh.
But it doesn't matter because getting a padlock one is just dumb unless you just need to see how locks work. Because
yeah. That was the point.
Padlocks are extremely easy to pick.
Yeah.
And it wasn't just this one. I went out and grabbed the one that I have on my shed, and it literally takes like 2 seconds, if you can see it or not, to be able to pick. So don't use padlocks to secure your stuff, because it wouldn't even have taken this $8 kit, because this one just came with some auto stuff and doors and everything, locks. You could have gotten an even cheaper kit that could pick it without any problems at all. So don't use padlocks. Figure out some other way.
Let's see what we can do.
The ones that have been really hard to pick are the ones that are on my deadbolt and door here, but I think that's just because they're really old and crappy locks. So maybe that's how you can secure things. Just get rid of
Let's
crappy
back
locks.
over here and look at this. Look at this. Darn it. Look, just to see the black shiny abyss.
Yeah.
The shiny is the juice, but it's just this black abyss. Those used to be. Let me grab a freshie for you. Freshie.
Much different.
Yeah. So I was like,
And remember, people, all of that is still going in your lungs.
into your lungs.
If it's cancerous or not is still yet to be determined, but
That can't be good. Look at that, though.
E-cigarettes are still not healthy for you, so keep that in mind.
I don't think anyone ever said they had vitamin C in them. You know?
If I got orange flavor,
I don't think anyone ever said that. Come on.
It's just 100 to 1,000 times safer than cigarettes, but still, it's just as bad as breathing in Beijing air. Which, did y'all hear about that?
What?
Beijing
air?
Yeah, Beijing put out a red alert about smog content, and apparently the particles in the air have reached above what the WHO, World Health Organization, recommends as safe levels of breathable.
Well, you know, I hear everything in China is kind of like that, you know, with the sweatshops and the
Beijing
things. I
being
mean, I imagine the whole country's got to be like, they make everything in the world. I mean, the whole country, they got to be like LA. You know, they're not going to be a problem anymore. The ozone holes will take them out.
the thing with Beijing is it's the capital of the largest population in the world, and they have construction going on all the time, and that puts up a lot of dust in the air, and then they have cars for all those people, and they've enacted a you can't drive but every other day thing now, and something else. So
Nice. Nice.
jeez. Yeah, I think that's all we got today. Anyone got anything else?
Hey, should we just go on about our day?
I was gonna say we're getting a lot of dead air.
Yeah.
All right. Well, let's see.
Yeah, I'm typing away and I'm rethinking what I want to do. I can fix the error message in a few short minutes here, but I'm rethinking what I want to do about it to make it safer. So let me just think about that for another hour or so, or do it, and I'll get back with you then.
Let's see how this end streaming thing is going to work with this thing. But before we go, join us tomorrow at 2 p.m. Feel free to jump in our IRC chat at foolishtechshow.com or foolishit.com/live. And you can jump in there anytime, talk to us. If we're in there, we'll be there. If not, you can definitely talk to us on the show, and we'll go over anything that you did talk about. And feel free to ask us questions about our software, like if you have questions about what CryptoPrevent actually does. Be more than happy to explain that on the air and in our IRC chat. So otherwise, hope everyone's having a good week, and we will see y'all tomorrow.
Latest internets.